We want to thank Surfshark for sponsoring this week's video.
Good morning. We are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed-ish. Maybe after this cup of coffee. But we need to get out of Dodge because there are multiple storms that are projected to at least brush by this area right now. And we need to get to Rhode Island. So we need to get moving. We're kind of unsure of what the wind's gonna do out there. It's supposed to be strong for the next few days, at least strong enough for us to make tracks, but then it gets all weird and wonky. But it's so far out that we don't even know what it's gonna do.
We just know we don't want to be here.
Yeah, we know we just gotta leave.
As quickly as we tucked into Ocracoke to avoid a nasty storm, we're moving out. We still have 450 nautical miles left of our sail from Florida to Rhode Island, and that's a lot of open ocean to cover. So we're pulling up a very muddy anchor.
Ooh, boy. Look at that nastiness.
And leaving this quaint little island behind. Looks like we're leaving out with the shrimp boat.
Hey, hon, can you move forward?
Yeah. Bye, cute little town of Ocracoke. It was nice while we visited.
This is gorgeous.
All the birds.
That's a really pretty start.
It stays like this.
So I think we may have timed this pretty perfectly because coming up behind me right now is the ferry and I'm almost to the sound, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to pass. Right now I have to head across the channel in order to avoid that, which is pretty much a shoaling, and I could run aground right there. What a pretty sunrise that was we got, love.
Back to work.
Because we weren't really preparing to leave today, we are not prepared. So Bo is kind of picking up the house and making sure everything is right. We still have plenty of miles to trek through the sound in order to get to the inlet, which we're going out of, which is, gosh, we have 44 nautical miles left for that, so still plenty of time. With this vagabond lifestyle, we really need a VPN to keep our personal information and pretty much our livelihood protected while we're out randomly selecting Wi-Fi in each of the places that we sail to. And that's why we choose Surfshark VPN, the sponsor of today's video. A VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, keeps your online identity safe by putting up a virtual block between you and the internet, encrypting all of your data you send to the internet and keeping your personal information safe from all of those hackers trying to steal your information. But it does more than just keep your information safe. You can use it to unlock content that's not available in your area. So if you want to binge watch Friends again, it's super easy to change the virtual location of your computer and voila, a whole new content library opens up.
That is the Coast Guard.
What are they doing out here? Coast is all the way over there.
So if you don't have a VPN already, we highly recommend Surfshark. On top of all of this, they also allow you to have unlimited devices on one account. So go use our code BOWANDBRANDY to get an exclusive Black Friday Surfshark deal and get up to 6 months additional for free at surfshark.deals/BOWANDBRANDY. Seriously, think about it. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's really no risk at all to try it out. So just click the link in the description below. Ready? See how our head sail is getting shaded by the mainsail? It's because we're getting southeast wind right now. And all that wind that's trying to get to that side of the boat can't because of this thing. So hopefully we can lower this and we'll go faster. Because ideally we would get into the inlet before sunsets. The tide will be going out but also lowering at 3. So we want to get out there, well, around 5 actually. It's kind of a slack tide and then it's going to start lowering but going out. So it's really deep there. We're not that worried about it. Sadly, the only loss that we had during the first part of this crossing is we lost our top batten. I don't know if I did a very good job tying it, but it worked its way out and flung into the ocean. Sorry, ocean. I love you. I don't love you, but I'm glad you're here. This is quite the change from this morning. We motored out of the lake and up the channel, and then we started getting a little bit of wind. We were beam, and now we're pretty much full dead downwind. So I took over from Wilson Jr. in order for me to kind of keep the Mag Daddy, our 180, using it kind of as an asymmetrical spinnaker, I guess. We are exactly 13 nautical miles till we're out in the ocean, and that's not even the inlet. We're about 7 nautical miles before we start doing down the channel to get through the inlet. We're going to be met with some outgoing tide, so that's good, but it's going to be lower tide. However, I think we already mentioned it's not shallow here, so I'm not really worried about it. Or maybe I should, and I'm just being naive about it. We're still kind of up in the air of what we're doing and where we're going, but I think are we thinking we're just gonna stay on the coast?
Yeah, I think so. That way if we have to tuck in, we'll tuck in.
We got really lucky that the stream is kind of pushed its way over west this next couple of days, so we're getting a little bit of a push once we get out into the open ocean. We'll be hitting the stream just a little bit. We'll get an extra almost knot, so that'll be nice. So we have wind for the next day and a half to 2 days, so we're hoping to get either to the Chesapeake, and if we're passing the Chesapeake and we see that we have more wind available, then we may keep going. So it's kind of going to be on a day-to-day, hour-by-hour basis, which most of our sailing plans are anyways. But for now, I gotta keep my eyes on this. We're going 7 knots going downwind, following seas. The biggest thing about going through these 2 inlets that we came in and we're going out of is the shoaling and the shifting sands. But thank goodness for the Army Corps of Engineers, they've done plotting and surveying, and I've have all their waypoints plotted in. They removed an old bridge over here, which now makes it easier, I guess. We don't really know this area, obviously. Our friends Billy and Sarah off of Tools Endless Summer went through, so we know that it's doable. We've watched some videos, and all of our patrons have been sending us articles about things, so we know it's going to be fine. It's just right now the conditions aren't perfect. I would prefer it to be calmer seas. We are going to have some south wind hitting us on our beam as we exit, so it should be a little interesting. But we're going to drop this 180 and put up our smaller sails just so it's more manageable. Worst case scenario, I take it over by the motor. Bo's currently paying bills before we lose internet. Dropped the Mac Daddy. Little lady will be going up soon. We're about 0.5 nautical miles from the first marker to go in. So, time to change out the sails. There.
The Oregon Inlet was formed in 1846 when a hurricane absolutely pummeled the Outer Banks. It was so strong that it separated Body Island from Pea Island. There was a ship named the Oregon that rode out the storm in the Palmetto Sound. And after the storm was over, the crew went to the mainland and told them about the inlet's formation. Hence, it's been named the Oregon Inlet ever since.
Eight through here.
How is it with the little guy?
Much better. Little lady. Girl.
Oh, that's right. Little lady.
Handle it. She might be small, but she's mighty.
She's easy to maneuver.
To manipulate.
Easier to handle.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nice speed. Where are we going?
That's 4.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. This area is not like the issue. It's once I turn.
It's the channel.
It's the bridge channel.
Right. Yeah. That's the narrow. What is it? 50 feet or something? Wide?
100.
That's plenty of space. Especially being downwind, this is gonna be a cakewalk.
It won't be down there.
Well, that will be.
You might head into it there.
Oh, really?
I
think it's going to be
yeah, that might be
beam to point.
Yeah. I don't even think I'm going to have to jibe. I think I'm just doing all starboard turns.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for better wind.
No.
It's perfect.
The waves have actually, I don't know if it's because we're behind the land, which probably is, but they have calmed down quite a bit. Although they're not hidden by the land, they're coming from.
Well, they might have like already hit a bunch of sandbars already, so that probably chilled them all out.
Yeah. It's a nice day. It's been like this all day long.
Yeah, it's
really
perfect.
sunny. Nice breeze. It would just be nice if this would continue for 4
4 more
solid
days.
Yeah.
That'd be ideal.
It's gonna happen.
We found out that most of the inlets along this coast move southward due to drifting sands, daring tides, and storms. Because of this, there is now a dedicated dredge, Miss Katie, which was actually only placed here last year, which hopefully today will make our sail out a lot less stressful than when we came in the Ocracoke Inlet a couple of days ago.
Just got up to almost 15.
Just when I have to turn.
Of course. And tighten up.
Yeah.
Good speed.
Put it over here. It's nice to have a little practice before you get to the really skinny part. It goes big, big, littler, littlest, and then it. Ta-da!
Here comes the skinny part. This path right here is what they call the bridge channel. It's really skinny and shallow. Start your engines. Looks real shallow right there, hon.
We had to drop the head sail because we're now pointing into it. It's pretty strong, so I can't even really point. It's a really skinny little channel here. I mean, it's 100 feet wide, but still, with this wind, it's not, we don't want to take any risks. So we're just gonna motor through it. Port? Okay. What is that thing at the end?
Really gusty right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to put this up.
Yeah.
It's real skinny here. Very narrow channel.
Narrow.
Narrow.
Very narrow. Forward. These waves right here are pretty darn intimidating, but this guy's bringing it home.
Who, me?
Man, The waves are pretty decent. I'm sure they could get really gnarly out here though. We're really lucky because this is a south wind, so I think a lot of this land is blocking it. How many more miles until we're out?
0.3.
Woohoo! I mean, we're pretty much in the clear.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna hit the 44 marker. I'm just gonna go through the channel.
It's gonna be a little bit more of a rough ride than our first half of this trip. Well, once we get out there, we'll turn north and it'll be fine. So this saved us a trip around the infamous coast of Hatteras. But today's sail was nice.
Yeah.
Nice and protected. I mean, it wasn't even...
It was easy beasy.
Perfect.
Alright, we decided that we're gonna drop the little lady. Are you jibing? Put up the big boy and go a little faster. We're gonna stay kind of close to shore. We're gonna stay about 25 miles out from shore. That way, if we don't feel comfortable with the weather, we can duck in, because there are, in a few days, there's supposed to be a few storms just brewing on the coast. Not sure what that's gonna bring, so we are playing it semi-safe.
Nauseous.
Oh, that's pretty. That means we're gonna have fair weather and no issues.
It's gonna get real rocky. Well, just like that, we are headed back in. So we had a storm roll through about an hour ago, and I woke Bo up in order to help me drop the sail. And we were just gonna motor through it because it looked like it was gonna be pretty big. I actually had messaged our friends Brooke and Gary over in South Pacific right now to ask for the weather because they're up. But on our radar, we could see it, but we couldn't really tell what was happening with it because we're not used to reading this radar. So I just happened to ask him, and he said it's about 60 miles north and south and about 5 to 10, and there could be some red sails. So we dropped it anyways. On the way dropping it down, we found that it kind of got stuck, but we couldn't really see. But we tied it down, got everything ready, and then just now we went to go raise it back up, and Bo's saying it's getting stuck on the forestay. So I go up with the bigger flashlight, and unfortunately, I could see that there was a little bitty piece of wire that was catching the sheet of our head sail. So our forestay has one wire coming out of it.
So we are having a very uncomfortable motor back in. Of course, it's blowing west, southwest west, and we're heading west now. We are about 50 nautical miles away from going into, I believe it's going to be the Norfolk area possibly, or I'm not sure. I'm just kind of heading to an opening. Bo was looking at the anchorages and such, but we have plenty of time. I'm just heading that way right now while he gets some sleep because he hasn't had any sleep yet. But that's the update. Boats.
Last night was rough. Shortly after when Brandy took over, a storm popped up, so we dropped the head sail. And when we dropped the head sail, we noticed that the head halyard was stuck on the forestay for some reason. And we brought the flashlight up there, and it turns out the forestay, one of the wires actually broke. So it's loose and kind of unraveling itself. So we left the head sail down and we planned on motoring into the Chesapeake, but because of the sea state and the current, we were making the wind, we were making zero headway, and it was just miserable. So Brandy let me sleep with those crappy conditions.
You're welcome.
I got a little bit, but this morning, a couple hours later, we got up and raised. I secured the forestay with the head halyard. So basically, I'm using the head halyard as like a secondary, just in case the forestay wants to give way. If it does, then we have the head halyard there to take the load. But we have the main up, and we're kind of trekking along, trying to get up north to Ocean City, which is, it was 100 miles away. We're about 85 miles away right now.
I mean, the Chesapeake was 70.
Yeah, the Chesapeake was 70, but it was gonna take us twice as long to get to just because of the wind and all that. So this is actually much more of a comfortable ride, and we'll actually make it on time, or in a reasonable time. So once we get there, we'll drop anchor, and I have wire to replace this wire. So it should be maybe a day repair, and then we'll get going again.
Night time for a lovey.
If you don't mind.
Well, go for it.
You kind of have to help Wilson out.
Okay.
He doesn't really like downwind.
I know. Right for us. So for reference, pretty sure one of our boat, I'm pretty sure Saoirse could fit in one of those containers, just for reference on how big this thing is. I put a preventer on the main because it was bouncing around with the waves, so it's behaving much better now. So we're about 76 miles away from Ocean City. We're about 2.5, 3 knots, but took over from Wilson. Tired of hearing him work, but it's a nice, calm ride. Oh, you guys, I just missed it. There was a huge sea turtle just swimming right here. Oh, man. Wow. Our wind is dying a little bit more and more. I popped on the motor, but I also tilted the solar panels to where it's completely negating the power of the motor. We are currently going 3 knots. We, I think, might have had a bit of current with us. We can barely keep the sail full. Kind of keeps slapping around. We're getting about beam to port broad, but it's only because of the waves. But I am very happy that we can try to run the motor and not use any power. We should hopefully be able to get in there by this time, if not earlier tomorrow. Bo is still sleeping. He needed it. He was very tired. And I've just been doing this all day. Anyone out there? There.
We're just off the Virginia coast, and I've never experienced so many bugs, so many flies being, we're probably at least 40 miles offshore, and they're just everywhere. And they're not just like black flies, they're ones that bite. So add to the annoying factor. I think I've killed probably 10 at least, but it's just non-stop. They just keep coming. I think it's because it's a heavy shipping lane here. We've been surrounded by ships, at least 6 at a time, constantly. So I wonder if they just they ship hop. And since we're really slow and an easy target, they've just been bombarding our boat. But we pretty much have no wind right now. We're going about 2 knots on the motor. We've got the mainsail still up. It's flapping around. Gonna run the generator here in a minute and probably run that all night. And hopefully we can make some decent treks. Hopefully the wind picks up so we can get moving. Verdax Fist-ish.
So let's talk about the big elephant in the room.
You can hear it. Old Blue. We got her up and running. How long we've been running her for?
Overnight, more or less.
Yeah, so the wind and the waves are against us. We do have the mainsail up. It's been helping us a little bit.
Obviously, we can't fly our head sail right now because of the crack in the wire. And this is something we definitely need because we need to get to Ocean City sooner than later. And there's no wind. It's right on our nose, so the mainsail is helping just a tad, but not enough.
Yeah, I think if we didn't have the motor going, then we would be going, we'd have to tack. And just because of the situation, we just want to get there as soon as possible before weather turns on us and then we're in a worse situation.
Yeah. We stayed closer to the coast on purpose, and I'm really glad we did. And we only did it for weather, not because of this situation. So we first use our sail, then we use our motor, and then last minute scenario,
we fire up the generator.
Yeah, so.
And you know, there are situations where we fire it up just because we need more power.
Because it looks like this.
Yeah, it's hazy or whatever.
So this isn't helping either.
Yeah, there are limitations to being an all-electric sailboat, and this is definitely one of them. We are not going very fast. We're probably doing about 2.5 to 3 knots. But you know, it's better than tacking, which is, at least we're shooting right for where we need to go.
Yeah. I'm just up at the bow checking on the forestay to make sure everything's okay. It's fine. Yeah, we're going about 1.5 knots. At this rate, we probably won't get in until after sun has set. This is the 3rd inlet that we've gone into that folks are saying in reviews on in Navionics that it's not a great inlet to go in. It's a little bit tricky. I don't know if we're just being really good at picking these crazy inlets, or if it just is the cards we've been dealt, or if all of them are tricky. I don't know. Are all of the inlets on the East Coast tricky? But we will probably going, if we do get in later, it'll be beneficial because we'll be going in with a ingoing tide. Our friends Billy and Sarah off of Tools Endless Summer have gone in there, and we've been communicating with them, and they said that the currents do rip through there, but it's well marked, so shouldn't be an issue, unlike the other ones that the markers are disappeared from or moving around, or I don't know. So not much going on. We're going super slow, just super grateful that the generator is actually able to keep up with our power, that the wind isn't too heavy since we are kind of sailing right into it. And as you can see, the waves are really calm. So we're making a little headway, not as much as we'd like, but it could be a lot worse. So we're taking what we can get.
Much later.
We are coming up to the entrance of Ocean City.
0.5 nautical miles away.
As you can see, it is dark out. We are gonna drop the main and just motor in. Right now it is just about slack tide. It'll be transitioning to actually an incoming tide, which is what we want because we'll be going with the flow, but really there shouldn't be any. There is some shoaling that we gotta watch out for. And Brandy has been studying the maps because she's gonna be the helmsman.
And I'm not super worried about going in here at night because it kind of looks like it's gonna look like daytime in there because it's so lit up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Ferris wheel, for goodness sakes.
This, we've been to Atlantic City, and it kind of reminds me of Atlantic City. It's just
not sailing into it, though.
Not sailing, but like we've been to it physically,
yeah.
And it kind of looks like that. So yeah, and we were checking out the video cameras online, and it seems pretty calm.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so.
Lots of recon.
Yeah, lots of recon.
Now we've got to drop the main and get set up to go in because just going in is kind of where it's it's supposed to be nasty, and the wind's switching because actually the boat's switching, so. Now that we've gotten closer to the shore, the waves have definitely picked up, so this should make for an interesting entrance, but yeah, it was pretty bad, though. We kind of tracked back a little bit because it was a little bit stronger to our port, and now I've got us on attack going in, so we're riding the waves down into it instead of to our beam. So hopefully this will make it much more comfortable.
You got this, right?
Green's on my left, ride's on my right. There's a marker up here though. Can you shine the bright light out there? I think there's a marker to my right. It's in the starboard.
That one? You see that one right in front of you, right?
Right in front of me. Is it on my
right
port?
to your starboard. The red one.
Oh yeah, see?
It's a really narrow channel.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna gun it a little bit more than this, look, because this is not good. Not that much. Whee!
I'd feel a little more comfortable if you got a little bit away from it.
Okay.
Because when you're counter steering, you're heading right towards it.
I feel like the tide's going out. I feel like I'm in reverse right here.
You're fine. You're moving forward.
Am I?
Yep.
I literally don't feel like I'm moving.
You're moving forward.
I'm going 1.2 knots.
It's fine.
I'm going 0 knots.
Give it a little gas then.
I'm literally going nowhere.